say 125, 130 mile an hour almost head on.
Going Mach oh shit.
Immediately got a headache.
Welcome your host.
Welcome back to Crash City. This week, I have ARCA professional driver. I've never learned this at all. I've only had speeding tickets my entire life, so this is going to be interesting. I have Presley Sorah with me today. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm excited to learn about this crazy world of professional driving because I don't know. Also, you have your entire race set up, is what I can tell.
I do. Yes, I've got one of my steering wheels right here. You can see the top of it, and then I've got another one sitting right here. But yeah, I'm in a whole basically a car cockpit. I've got 3 monitors for the windshield, and then shifters and all that good stuff as well. So I got a full deal here.
Okay, before we get into what ARCA is, what got you into racing? Was it mostly the gaming?
I would say I was already into it before the gaming stuff. Mostly, my parents watched it when I was really little. My parents have always been fans, so I was around it, watching it in front of a TV from the time that I was born. So it's just something I've always been around and been interested in. So literally the very first and only thing I've ever wanted to do was be a professional race car driver, especially in NASCAR. So it's kind of almost the only thing I've known. I don't know any better. So I've always been into it, always followed it, watched every week on TV since I was real little. I was basically like an encyclopedia for it back when I was in school, and I still am, but man, I'm a NASCAR freak. I'm all about it.
So when I was telling my producer, like, hey, we're gonna have this person on, he had a question, and I'm actually kind of curious too. What is the training that goes into driving? What is the physical aspects, the mental aspects? Like, what is everything that you've experienced going into learning how to drive these cars professionally?
Yeah, so a lot of it comes from the simulator itself. So if I don't know, the layout of a track or different aspects like the shifting points of a track, I'll hop on the simulator and practice it, and that's what most of the real world drivers do. So that's kind of how we learn the track, and then we study film too. So it's no different than other sports, like obviously NFL, they study a lot of film, MMA. Studying film, you can learn so much about your competitors and what they do better than you. Obviously, that's a really helpful tactic for us, just to learn what we, don't do ourselves. But then, physically, we hydrate a bunch. So my hydrating for next weekend in Daytona is about ready to get rolling. So drivers can usually lose between 8 and 13 pounds in a race if it's super hot. So you wouldn't think that, the general stereotype with NASCAR and oval track racing is, oh, they're making another left turn, but it's a very, very physical sport, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. So I work out 5 days a week, couple hours a day, and I mainly do weightlifting, but I mix some cardio in there as well, because it's kind of an awkward thing that you're doing. It's not like everyday driving. You're kind of in a weird position. Your hands are up like this the whole time on the steering wheel, and it's just your body is awkward the entire time through the race. And obviously, you're under loads of G forces, and obviously the physical conditions of the heat, or in some cases cold, but mainly the heat. That's like an outside factor as well. So you try to be as well prepared for it as possible, but honestly, nothing prepares you quite like doing the real thing.
Okay, so you said a lot, and there's a lot to touch on, and it opened up like a multiverse of different questions that I have. So I'm gonna try to get all of them done. The first thing is the physical aspect. How what is the best description that you can say? You know, your body feels awkward, your arms are heavy from holding the steering wheel in a certain position for hours. What does it feel like? What is the best way you can describe that feeling of driving?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it's kind of like a roller coaster, but you know, where it's different than a roller coaster is you're in control. So imagine like if you're at the very head of the roller coaster at a theme park, but you were the one in control of everybody's fate behind you, your own fate. You could make it go faster or slower. Really, I think the most awkward thing that you wouldn't really experience in a street car is the G forces. So, like for example, like Daytona that I'm racing here soon. When you go into the corner at Daytona is banked so much that you're sitting on your side like this. So when you're in that corner, you drive into the corner at 180, 190 mile an hour. So the forces literally push down on top of you. So you can sit there and drive and you can't really lift your legs, you can't really lift your arms, you're just kind of where you are. And the forces push down on top of your body. And I mean, really, they hold you in the seat. I mean, we have seat belts and everything like that, which are more. There's a lot more to those than your regular streetcar seat belt, but the forces will keep you in the seat itself. And then on some tracks too, if it's like a flat corner, the forces come from the side because there's so much load on the side of the car. So you've got all that force kind of almost pushing your head into the side of the headrest. So it's a lot to get used to, and something that if you go to the race as a fan, you wouldn't even really pick up on all of that. It just looks like cars going around a track. But man, inside of it, the drivers are super, super busy.
Daytona, famous track. Is this your first time driving it?
So I've driven it. I tested it about a month or so ago, just to get some preseason practice for this year, and then I've done the same thing the previous 2 seasons, but I've never raced it before. So I've driven it, but not raced it. So this upcoming week will be my first time actually, out there with a big pack of. We'll have 40 cars in the race, so first time out there with 40 of us.
Okay, and I was looking at what you posted, 50 I thought it said like 50 cars, 40 slots, something like that, and it had a star next to your name for rookie connotation. So, how does this feel, and what have you done in your career so far that even qualified you to get here?
Yeah, so I started out racing go-karts when I was around 10 years old, and I did that for a few years, and then I actually got into this here, the simulator racing. So I'm kind of part of the first wave of drivers that are able to use the simulator to actually make a real career out of it. So I did that for a few years, got really successful in that, and just got my name pushed out into the real world racing community, and that gave me some opportunities to race in real life. So in 2023, I actually raced like late model stock cars, if you're familiar with that, around the
Mhm.
state of Indiana. So I did that for a year, and I did dirt, I did asphalt, traveling around to a bunch of different tracks, and while at the same time volunteering and doing some at track work almost every single week for one of the NASCAR teams. So yeah, I just kind of put my best foot forward, worked hard, and made sure that the teams knew I was committed to this, and helped wherever they need help with. If there's a lot of weeks I showed up to the track, volunteering, and I had no idea what I was even volunteering for. I just showed up, and whatever they put me to work doing, that's what I did. So I just kind of showed that commitment, and then that gave me some opportunities to start racing in the ARCA Menards Series in 2024. And so I did it in 2024, made some starts in 2025, and then I'm back again this year to do it some more.
So, you mentioned the simulator and that you're the first wave, and there's a fantastic movie that came out by Sony a few years ago, that actually happened in real life, and that's Gran Turismo. The channel the contest that they put out globally to have somebody actually race for, I can't remember which company it was for. But either way, and that was awesome getting to watch that movie and kind of peek into the world. How realistic is it with these high end simulators that you have? Because you have 3 monitors, you have your shifters, you have 2 different wheels, you have your chair. How realistic it compared to actually, driving the car functionally, minus, the actual everything about being in a car in real life? How similar is it?
Yeah, so it has its pros and cons. I mean, I feel like it's a very good visual tool. So, like I kind of mentioned earlier, like just getting familiar with with racetracks that you're not already familiar with, I think it's very, very good for that. Um, the overall I guess realism as far as the feel of a car, it kind of varies based on the simulator. So like I would say mine's all right. It's decent, but there's some that are way above where I'm at. So like every year at they have a big show in Indianapolis. It's called the Performance Racing Industry PRI show, and all kinds of simulator companies will go out there, and you can do demo runs on them and do all of that and just try their product. And I mean, there's simulators out there that are 150, $200,000 plus. And I mean, they've got like seat belts on them and they actually pull tight and all kinds of feedback. They're on all kinds of motion platforms, so the whole rig gets up and moves like a car would. So I mean, I would say mine is very basic in that regard. It does the trick, but it kind of depends on what the equipment you have is. But I mean, they're a great tool in my opinion overall. It's never going to be perfect because there really is nothing like doing the actual thing. But I mean, it's the closest you can ever get to driving a race car. And I mean, the best thing is anybody can do it. You could get a desk mounted wheel and some pedals on the floor, and that's still considered sim racing, and you can still get a basic feel for how it is. So I mean, for the general public, you're never going to get closer to driving a race car without driving a race car than using a simulator.
That's I see. I've always been interested in one, but I'm like, I don't play racing games enough to do it. And plus, shifting and everything, I think I would get too mad. Honestly, I am not a manual driver, and I'll admit that. The only thing I ever shifted was my motorcycle. So it's cool hearing about this, man. And honestly, when you agreed to do this, I got excited because, like, I don't know the world of racing, man. When I had to look up what ARCA is, I got even more excited because I learned that there's a feeder system into NASCAR, that this is sanctioned by NASCAR. So, can you kind of explain to everybody what ARCA is, and you just how does it feel to be a part of it now?
Yeah, so ARCA is owned by NASCAR, run by NASCAR. We use essentially the same cars as are in NASCAR. So actually, most of them are like retired Cup cars from like 5 to 10 years ago. So like a lot of the series, once like the top series, once they're done with cars and it's past their lifetime for them, then they pass them down to us, sell them down to the ARCA series teams. And then there are some purpose-built ARCA cars too. But for the most part, I kind of describe it as like almost the collegiate level of
Mhm.
NASCAR. So I mean, like in college football, like they're playing football. They're not doing anything different necessarily than NFL. It's just kind of a bridge to get there. So with us, I mean, we're racing the same track, same cars, same style of racing. What you tune into in our race is going to be pretty much the exact same, just a little shorter than what you're going to see in a Sunday NASCAR Cup Series race. But it's mostly tailored towards getting younger drivers up through, getting them the development that they need to, learn and be ready for the top series, and just kind of serve as an opportunity for them to get up through there. So, yeah, I mean, truthfully, like I I have always wanted to do this, but I'm a first generation racer. There's nobody in my family that's ever been a part of any motorsport before. So um yeah, I mean, it was always a dream, always a goal, and I've always worked hard for it, but it's something that, I was definitely against the odds to make happen. So it's crazy. I mean, honestly, it's surreal. Every race I do, I'm kind of amazed that I'm even there doing it. I'm grateful for that. But then like this Daytona race, I don't think it's still sunk in yet. I mean, I just drove the practice laps down there a month ago, and I still can't believe I'm doing it. So I don't know if I'll really be able to take it all in until afterwards, honestly, because I think The race week is so busy in itself, but there's just so much going on and so much to take in that I think I'm gonna have to do it first, and then like the week after, just kind of sit back and decompress and be like, man, that actually happened. I actually did that.
I hope you realize, man, I'm gonna message you and be like, dude, that's cool. You got to race on a famous track no matter what. No matter what happens, bro. Like that is badass. That is cool that you got to do it. And I like how you said like this is like college football or the XFL or the G League in basketball, that this is it's nothing different, but it's gonna have that different feel because it might be a little bit more fun because you guys are racing for that opportunity. You guys haven't made the sponsorships yet or signed with like the bigger teams. You guys are chasing those opportunities to get to the Sunday races that you were talking about. So it's in my head, man, this is cool. This is badass. Like I know it's the indies, like we say in wrestling, it's the independence. It's you're building up to try to make it to the bigger company, but it's still cool and it's attached to the bigger company. Um, when it does sink in, what do you think you're gonna feel?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I think obviously happiness that I was able to do it, and a little bit of disbelief that I was able to be there and do it. But honestly, like I, just to get to this moment and just in preparation for just this race alone, like I've put so much work in, it's not even funny. And I mean 99.9% of it the public doesn't see. It's all just something I do. It's, behind the scenes, whether it's working late at night or early in the morning on marketing stuff or, during the day. Like it's stuff that nobody would see, but it all has to happen to
Mhm.
make, all of this work. So I mean, I think probably within a few days of getting back from Daytona, um, you know, even if it hasn't really fully set in yet, I'm going to be right back to work trying to make the next one happen. So we've got a busy schedule, and uh, the racing sport's not forgiving, and they'll forget about you quick. So, I need to get back and continue working on my marketing stuff and continue prepping for races and, continue to work hard to give myself opportunities to do more in the future.
So that's another question for me. Are you not part is this not a season where you sign up and you have so many races to qualify, or is it just each one you're just lucky enough to get in?
Yeah, so it mostly depends on like sponsorship funding and stuff like that. That's where a lot of drivers, do their racing from. So um, I just kind of piece every race together as I can. I mean, I don't have any like outside funding, so pretty much like whenever I race, it's only based on sponsorship. So if I don't have the funding to do a race, then I'm not doing it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I work as hard as I can on it, and try to make opportunities happen. Some drivers do run a full season and they have that set ahead of time, but for me, I don't have that right yet. That's something obviously I'm working towards. But yeah, I feel like I kind of have to race every race like it's my last because it very well could be. So just try to do as good as possible, attract sponsors, attract team owners. Just get that exposure within the racing world and outside of it as well, and hope that will add to an increase in opportunities for me for the rest of the year and beyond, whether that's in the ARCA level or maybe even above that in like the NASCAR Truck Series or something like that. So I'm a firm believer, like if it has wheels, if it has a motor, like I want to drive it. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's ARCA or like an open wheel car or sports car. I'm just happy racing. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy. But right now, I'm focused on the NASCAR career and doing everything I can to keep that going forward like it is.
And how many years do they typically keep somebody in ARCA? Or is it like, oh, this guy has been getting in the top 5 the last couple of races. I think he's ready situation. Like, is it just random or do they have a set amount of time you have to spend?
It's mostly random, kind of case by case. There is no like set, like this person has to do 20 races before we'll move them up to the next level. It's really, kind of opportunity based, and also, they take a look at, how you're doing. If you're kind of dangerous on track, then they won't give you that boost up to the next series. But yeah, it's kind of experience based, but there is no like dead set criteria. It's just they pay a lot of attention to how your on track capabilities are, and then obviously if you cause no issues, if you're quick, then they're gonna have a much easier time moving you forward than they would for somebody that's slow and in the way and crashes every week. So there are requirements in that standpoint, but nothing like set in stone.
I don't think like I said, I don't really know too much about racing. I try to look. That's why I said teams and sponsorship. Try to make myself sound like I know what I'm talking about. How often is crashing?
I've only crashed once in the NASCAR level. But I mean, there are some drivers that, we feel are kind of dangers on the track, and they crash weekly or bi-weekly. I mean, it happens more frequently than it should. Um, I'm happy to say I'm not one of those. Hopefully, I'm not one of those next week at Daytona. But yeah, I've crashed once, but it kind of depends on a driver and their talent and their situational awareness. But yeah, I'm happy to say it's only happened once to me. It wasn't a fun time when it happened, but it's part of it. And that's one of the things too. Like, people ask like, does that not scare you? The fact that you could crash and get, seriously injured or killed or, whatever behind the wheel of a car. And no, it doesn't. Like I don't have any fear about it at all, because I feel like if I'm sitting worrying about what's going to happen to me in a NASCAR crash, then I probably shouldn't be racing in NASCAR. So it's just kind of one of the things that we, just kind of have to accept. And there's really no thought behind it. I mean, if you're on this career path and focused on making it in the racing world, you really don't even think about it, because your mind honestly just kind of automatically knows that it's going to happen. I mean, if I race long enough, I'm going to crash again. It's just how it goes. And, there's going to be bad crashes, little spin outs, it's just how it goes. Every driver experiences it at one point or another. And, just something you kind of have to put in the back of your mind and not really pay attention to.
I agree with you. That wasn't even something I was gonna ask, like, oh, are you afraid? No, because you're doing it. I understand that. How much did that hurt? That's my question, bro. How much did that hurt crashing?
When I crashed, it was at my home race a couple years ago in 2024. So I was running well. I think we had a really good shot at a pretty good finish, and I was actually about to pass one of my teammates. I'd caught him from like half a straightaway, almost a full straightaway back. I mean, I was running him down quick and got to him. And I mean, I was probably within a lap or two of making the move and passing him. And I come out of the second corner, and this is a little short track, by the way. And I come out of the second corner. I feel a big pop, and the car pulls to the left really hard, like uncontrollably hard. And so my trajectory at this point, we're going down the straightaway and about to hit the corner, is, the car's hooking left. I'm about to hit my teammate. So I was like, well, can't do that. And at that point, and this is all like split second stuff too, but I mean, when it's happening, it almost feels like it slows down for you.
Mhm.
But when, as it was all going down, I was like, well, I can't hit my teammate. So I hooked the wheel back to the right, which is towards the wall. And when I did that, well, actually, I'll slow it down. Basically, what happened, the pop was the left front shock, and it shot through the left front tire. And literally, the shock landed in the inside of the racetrack. It fired out so hard. So obviously, like that alone eliminates really all of my steering. But it going through the tire, when I turned back right, the tire completely popped, and I had zero steering, no steering whatsoever going in the corner. So I just held the brakes, took my hands off the wheel like this, and hit the wall. There was no way getting out of it. I hit it about 100, I'd say 125, 130 mile an hour, almost head on. Um,
Wow.
yeah, not fun. Um, I'll have to find a picture and actually text it to you of the angle of impact because you could see my tire marks going into the wall, and it's
Oh.
pretty gnarly. I mean, it's almost like 90 degrees, but I hit it and immediately got a headache. I'm talking like fraction of a second, and I had a pretty good headache for a few days. The immediate feeling when hitting the wall, the best I can describe it as, and I'm sure every crash is different. Like I said, this is the only like big one I've had. But the immediate feeling was kind of like the feeling like if you hum, like the feeling your lips and mouth have when you hum, that's what your entire body was doing.
Oh.
So I hit the wall, and I mean, it was like my arms were humming, my legs were humming, my feet, my neck, my head, my back, everything was like kind of just shaking. And yeah, it. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I hope I don't have it again. But like I said, I mean, that's just kind of one of those things. The big thing, honestly, like drivers fear a lot less about crashing, more about what happens during a crash, like as in like a fire or something like that.
Hmm.
We don't like fire. So fire is one of those you never want to see, and thankfully I didn't in this, but that's more of our fear is a fire or something like that. But the crash itself, not fun, but live to see another day and live to probably see another crash one of these days, I'm sure.
Okay, so growing growing up, did you said that you race go-karts, you've done a lot of racing throughout your life. Your parents raised you to be tough because they kind of knew like, oh, he's doing something that is super dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they did, but I mean, at the same time, like, I think that they knew that I was dead set on this no matter what. So at the end of the day, like, there was no way that they were gonna sway me away from it. So
Hmm.
they kinda just had to roll with it and, however it turned out is however it turns out. And, they knew that they couldn't change my mind because, like I said, I mean, I've been on this since I was old enough to talk. So, yeah, my level of commitment is through the roof, and there's definitely no changing that.
Are they excited for Daytona?
Yeah, they're excited. I think for them, their level of stress and worry
Hmm.
is on par or higher than their excitement level. Whereas mine's definitely not. I mean, I'm way more excited than anything. So, yeah, they're excited for me and stressed or nervous as a parent.
And that's completely fair. And who knows? You may have the greatest race of your life. You may come dead last. We're hoping for the latter of that. Have the greatest race of your life. It I love that you said earlier like it hasn't hit you. But is it something that keeps you up? Is it something that you constantly think about? Like where is your mindset going into this now logically?
I would say I would say this race, and not only, I mean, I guess not only this race, but here lately, this race. But in general, like, as far as like focusing on future opportunities and just racing and NASCAR itself, I would say it's on my mind 99% of the day. I would say, the moment I wake up, probably one of my first thoughts is about racing. Probably one of the last thoughts I have before I go to sleep is also about racing. So I mean, it's on my mind the whole day. I'm thinking about it constantly. Um, yeah, it's almost how it's always been, though. I mean, it's not much different. I mean, when I was little, I was a fan and always thought about racing because I always wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Now I'm in it and I only think about it because I want to be successful in it and continue to go forward. So, yeah, it's I would say 99% of my day, if not more, maybe 100%, my mind's focused right on the motorsports stuff.
And when are you going to take your moment for you? When are you going to let all the emotions finally catch up with you? Is it the moment that you get there? Is it going to be the day before, or is it going to be after the race? When are you going to finally just be like, damn, my life's pretty cool? When are you going to have that moment?
That's a really good question, actually. Um, I would say stuff always kind of gets real, honestly, when you're standing on pit road next to the car during the pre-race stuff. So during the pre-race festivities, all the partners are around the car, and all your family and friends and everybody with you is around the car, all the team, and you get into a line and you do the national anthem and everything, and everybody stands there and does the national anthem, and um, then like as soon as the national anthem ends, it's like, okay, you got to get in the car, you got to get your belts on, you got to get in and get ready and get ready to rock and roll here. So, uh, it's like, I feel like probably during the national anthem or the time right before it, because that's the time when the entire track's silent except for the person singing. And I mean, you're just standing there kind of looking around like, man, this is pretty crazy. So, I would say probably, yeah, right before the race. But I mean, that time period where that's happening is not very long. I mean, it might be 30 seconds, if even, that I get to stand there and be like, man, this is pretty wild. This is pretty awesome. And then as soon as, that thought ends, as soon as the anthem ends and they tell you to get in your car, then it's game time. So then the full focus is back on, and you're not thinking about any of that until you're after or till after the race, and everything's sort of done with at that point.
How long are your races compared to normal races?
So this weekend or next weekend is 200 miles. I think the shortest one in the big series is maybe 3 or 400, and their longest is 600. But I think I would say that they average probably 400 miles. So we're about half distance of one of the NASCAR Cup Series races.
Oh my, so that should only take y'all like what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, I would say probably an hour and a half, 2 hours if everybody decides to wreck a bunch.
Oh my god. Okay. Are 2 hours going um mock oh shit and not being able to feel your arms to a certain point because they're getting heavy is a wild thing to do. Kudos to you, sir, cuz I could never.
Well, thank you. And well, and then, especially too, just as much as it's wild in that aspect, like mentally, you're this close from another car and
Mhm.
another driver doing the exact same thing. I mean, in some cases, you're pushing them. Like there's actual contact between multiple cars going close to 200 mile an hour for 2 hours. It's like when you put it in that perspective, it sounds crazy. It sounds like actually insane, and it is. But yeah, it's part of the fun. That's what we look forward to. So I'm getting antsy because I'm so excited to do it. I'm ready to rock and roll.
How does what does 200 miles an hour feel like? Cuz I can't even imagine that.
So the funny thing is the tracks that we're going those speeds at, they're all really big tracks that accommodate that. So honestly, it doesn't feel that fast at all because it's such a big track. Now, if you were going 200 somehow in space on a little tiny short track, that would feel fast. But I mean, like two or like 185, 190 mile an hour on a big track doesn't, to me, feel any different than 100 or 120 mile an hour on a short track, just because it's kind of perspective based. And honestly, it doesn't feel a whole lot faster than you know rolling 80 down the interstate. I mean, it's kind of a situational thing where it just kind of changes based on your environment.
Have you started doing film on your fellow racers, your opponents, the people you're going to beat?
Yeah, so the good thing is I've been to this race the last 4 years maybe, and even if I'm not driving, I still go to all the races in some capacity working. So I feel like I almost have an advantage in some races because I know everybody's characteristics. I know, you can point to any of them in the field and I can tell you, well, that's not somebody I want to be around because they're probably going to crash. Or, on the flip side, there could be someone where I'm like, I trust this person to, push me to the front, work with me to go to the front, or at least, stay safe around me. So I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on where everybody stands. And I almost think, because I do race a partial schedule, some of the drivers may not even know who I am. So in turn, they don't know my characteristics. They don't know how, I run in a pack or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I feel good about it. I will watch a lot of film and go over previous races, but I think just from going there in person and watching it with my own eyes, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape right now.
So, like I said in the pre-show, by the time this comes out, you will have already done Daytona. You will have already I will have already texted you, been like, congratulations, man. No matter what happened, that's badass that you got to do that. And probably trying to set something up so that we could talk about it because I feel like that's something cool to talk about. But like it's weird just hearing that too. You know, I know these people who potentially are going to crash, and then I know guys that I can trust that are going to be safe. Cause when we see it on TV, we're like, oh, this is something. This isn't crazy. It's like watching football. It's or watching an MMA fight, but in reality, somebody does something, whether it be intentional or not, and all of you guys are going to get hurt. And it's a
Oh, I
weird
mean,
way of saying like you guys have to trust each other, but also you guys are trying to beat each other and ruin each other's dreams.
yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like to to be successful, especially in like a race like Daytona where everybody's so close, like you have to work with your competitors to keep each other safe and, in turn working with them inadvertently helps you, but the second that one person makes one wrong move, it could wipe out 15 cars in 10 seconds. I mean, it takes nothing, and that's honestly more often than not, that's what happens. It's one small little tiny lapse of judgment by one person, and that's there goes 10, 15 race cars. And it's crazy. You have to find obviously the balance in it between, well, I can work with this person and it might help me, or I can be selfish and focus on myself and see where that gets me. And both sides sometimes work. So it's kind of luck of the draw, a lot of skill as far as your decision making. But really, I mean, the biggest thing with motorsports is anything can and probably will happen.
Do you guys have a separate meeting with all the racers before it starts? Like, getting rid of the families, getting rid of the teams or the managers, and it's all you guys. And maybe the head of the race is just going like, make sure everybody comes home. Is something like that happen, or is it once you guys get there, you guys all go your separate way and only meet up on the track?
It's identical to that. So before any driver goes out on the track, the series holds a drivers meeting. So
Hmm.
yeah, we'll have one on practice day, and they'll probably do one every day, honestly. But yeah, it's obviously they go over rules and
Hmm.
everything like that associated with the race. But I mean, it's a lot of talk about, guys, keep each other safe. Like
Hmm.
we're all here for the same goal. Everybody wants to go win. Everybody wants to continue their career up and all of that. But at the end of the day, you got to keep each other safe. You can't go out there and do something stupid that's gonna injure somebody or, cost them their life or anything. I mean, you got to be easy with it. So, and that goes back to you have to find that fine line, that margin in between working with all of your competitors and trying to beat them. Because lots of times when someone crosses that line, that's where problems start to happen.
And I mean, it is for some of these people, it isn't their first race here, like their first actual ARCA race. It is your first race, and the whole point is the odds are probably very low that it being somebody's first race, they're going to get picked up and immediately moved to the big leagues. And you're just battling just to get to that next opportunity. There's no real big point in trying to show off and ultimately tons of people get hurt, but have you ever seen something where somebody just immediately their first race they come in and you don't have to say names, but they do something stupid and either crash or crash somebody else?
Oh yeah, I mean it happens all the time where a newer person makes a mistake and wipes themselves out, wipes somebody else out. That's just kind of, I hate to say it's part of it because obviously you don't want that to happen, but it kind of is part of it, especially with a series like ARCA where it is focused on young driver development. When you've got young drivers that are not necessarily new to racing, but new to this style of racing, or just kind of getting their feet wet in it and trying to move forward, you know, stuff happens. It's part of it, and it's something when those people do make a mistake, then you're looking for them to learn on that and not make that same mistake again in the future. So as much as you don't want to see it happen, it can be almost kind of a positive in the sense that it's a learning moment for that person.
It's so weird to hear crashing a car at 200 miles an hour is a learning, and every sport has it. Obviously, you read the play wrong in football and you hit your own teammate, which I've seen happen, and that's a learning opportunity. But traveling at 200 miles an hour or anywhere close to it and either wrecking yourself or wrecking somebody else, and you go, well, yeah, but next time you'll learn, or that's an instinct thing. It's crazy to me to hear that, because what you guys do and what guys in rodeo do um are kind of similar, because you're trusting something that doesn't necessarily, that you can't fully control, because like you said, shock went through your tire, you hit the wall. They ride bulls, that bull just decides one day, you know what, I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna hurt this person. It happens. I don't want to ask, does that ever scare you, because you've been very clear, like it is what it is, but just, is that something that you think about?
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, the best that you can do is only what you're doing and in
Mhm.
control of. So, when you're out there racing, there's 39 other people that you don't have control over.
Mhm.
So one of them can make a mistake, and there goes your race. You could have had it. I mean, you could have been perfect the entire time. Not put a single foot wrong, and your race is over because of someone else's mistake. And it's just, it happens. Or like we talked about earlier with the shock that blew out on the car. You know, the cars aren't perfect either. I mean, they're cars. I mean,
Yeah.
people have flat tires driving down the interstate. So I mean, you never know when something like that is going to happen, and that's out of your control. So yeah, I mean, I would say truthfully, like what the driver is actually in control of is very, very minimal because there's so many outside factors that play into a race. I mean, that's why truthfully, like it's tough enough to finish a race, let alone win one. So, yeah, I mean, just finishing is obviously a good day, but obviously having success and winning is even better. But there's so many variables that have to play out for that to happen.
Well, buddy, as we begin to wind down, first and foremost, where can everybody find your socials? Find Figure out how to, is there a stream that we can watch any of your future races, or like how can we watch ARCA, and how can we keep in touch with you?
Yeah, so all of my stuff is on PresleySorah.com. So if you just search my name.com, I make it as easy as possible. All my social handles are at Presley Sorah on everything. Facebook's Presley Sorah Racing, but everything's pretty much easy. Yeah, so I'm on social media all the time. I'm making posts all the time, just keeping everybody up to date with what's going on, especially during race week. So I'll probably more than likely have multiple pieces of content coming out every single day on my social media pages, at least from this point through the race weekend. But yeah, at Presley Sorah, PresleySorah.com to keep up with me. To watch the series itself, all of our races are broadcast on Fox Sports. So whether that be like Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2, or for Daytona, it's on the actual national, like main Fox channel. So This is our most viewed race of the year. It's kind of like our Super Bowl. So yeah, it's a big one. I hope a lot of people tune in. We had 1.16 million in 2025 tune in live. So it'd be awesome to crush that number and extend the fan base even further. So yeah, Fox Sports. The race will be on at noon on Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So yeah, if you're free at noon on Valentine's Day, definitely tune in because I can guarantee I'm going to try to put on a show, and I'm sure all the other 39 will as well.
All right. And one last thing, what is something that you could just give somebody a piece of advice if they're trying to pursue their own dream the same way you're trying to pursue yours? What's some advice you could give?
I wrote a children's book in 2025, and it's called Racing Toward a Dream. And the entire point of it, and it goes through my entire career from being a little kid, not even in racing and everything. The entire point is to just follow your dream. Like if you just work hard at it, it almost has to work out. Now, I'm not saying it will. There's factors that go into everything, and a lot of luck that gets you there. But I mean, hard work goes a long, long way, and also like being committed to it. Like it has to be number one. It can't be kind of even with other stuff. And well, I'm kind of considering this as well. Like you have to be all in on it. So um, I tell people, and truthfully, this isn't smart advice. I wouldn't, necessarily recommend any young people go this route. But for me, I don't have a backup plan. I never have had a backup plan because in my eyes, if I have a backup plan, I'm basically assuming that I'm going to need to use a backup plan. And so I don't even want to go that route. I'm 110% focused on being a professional race car driver in NASCAR. So yeah, I have no backup because, I only want my goals in front of me. I don't want to be thinking about, what I'm going to do if the goals don't work out.
All right. I like how you put that. Ladies and gentlemen, this was my conversation with Presley Sorah. I'm going to have to say, brother, normally I have a little like, we'll see you in the next video. But all I'm going to say is, I hope you stay safe, man. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to talk to you about it after. And we'll see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye, guys. That was this week's interview. Obviously, you had to have loved it because you stayed towards the end, and we really appreciate that. But please hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, even share. Helps me and helps my guests. And if you want to stay here a little bit longer, we have previous weeks where we interviewed some of the most best people on this planet. Plus, you can head over to the Crash Pad where you can see me, Erebus V, and It's Bacon just mark out on some wrestling. Whether you want to get into wrestling or already been a fan for years, come and see our reactions. You never know what you're going to get.